What's going on, everyone? As the NBA resumes next week, I got a very special panel, the Dream Team 4 Hitless Debaters, to talk about pretenders and contenders. I'm going to introduce my panel. We got Marcus Lamar from the Mark My Words podcast. Marcus, how we doing, bro?
What's going on, everybody?
We got the South Beach native, Andres Rivas. Andres, what's up, man?
What's going on, Brandon? Thank you for having me, bro.
And the sports list himself, the executive producer, Colounges. Carl, how we doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Ready to go to the title. You know what it is.
As the season resumes next week, we're going to discuss the pretenders and contenders. We'll start with Marcus. Marcus, for your opening statement.
All right, so I hate to play Paul Heyman, but I love Paul Heyman, so I will do that for the purposes of today's show. This notion that all of a sudden the NBA season is wide open because we haven't seen live basketball in 4 months and we don't know how teams are going to mesh and how they're going to gel is ridiculous. We heard this same notion prior to this season starting, right? We said, since the Warriors have quote unquote disbanded, there's no more KD, Steph is hurt, Clay is hurt, that all of a sudden the NBA is wide open. And then all of a sudden as the season progressed, what did we see? That the Lakers and Clippers, which were the projected two best teams in the Western Conference, that's who the two best teams in the Western Conference currently are. And the Milwaukee Bucks under Giannis's dominance are the best team in the East, not Carl's sorry Boston Celtics. So when the season resumes next week, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that the teams that you think are going to be in the finals or near the finals will be there. The Lakers, the Celtics, the Bucks, and the Clippers. That is the Final Four, possibly. Now, do you have teams like the Houston Rockets and the Sixers who could maybe upset the apple cart and maybe catch a team slipping? Sure. But this notion that Charles Barkley has put out there that the Portland Trail Blazers, and I know what you all are going to say. Danny Green went on his podcast and told Stephen A. Smith that the team the Lakers don't want to see in the first round is the Portland Trail Blazers because of their experience and this, that, and the third. No, because what's going to happen when the Lakers beat the Trail Blazers? The narrative is going to be, well, that's what you should do when you have two top 10 players in the NBA. I see it coming. The Lakers and Clippers will be in the Western Conference Finals. All right, and the Bucks and or Celtics will be in the Eastern Conference Finals. And from there, I'll allow you all to speak.
Andres?
First of all, that was a great opening statement. You just made a few
go ahead.
You just made a few mistakes.
It wasn't a great opening statement, but go ahead.
Let him talk, Carl. Thank you.
Sorry. I just have to correct him on that one.
I think in the West, I think it's the Lakers, the Clippers, the Rockets, and then everyone else. The Utah Jazz are there just to explore what the state of Florida looks like and what Orlando looks like. OKC could be a second-round team. The Mavericks are going to get dismantled by the Clippers. It's going to be a bloodbath, not going to be close. And then the Blazers, Pelicans, Suns, or the Kings, or even the Spurs, they're just there to have fun with the Lakers. But I do think the Blazers have the best shot out of those 6 teams, regardless of how you feel about Zion, regardless of how you feel about Alvin Gentry, regardless of how you feel about the whole Pelicans team and what they're constructing. I think that the Pelicans would get swept by the Lakers and the Blazers have a better chance. Now, if we go to the East, you have the Bucks, who are led by Giannis Antetokounmpo, who should win the MVP, and he's going to win the MVP. And then you have teams like Toronto, who are frauds. You have Miami, you have Boston, and you have the Philadelphia 76ers. The Pacers are just there to be there. The Magic are just there to be there, and the Nets are just there to be there. So the remaining 3 or 2 teams in the East, I'm not gonna be sounding biased, but I do think the Heat have a good shot. I think the conference finals is gonna be the Heat and not the Bucks, the Celtics. The floor is yours, Carl.
Thank you, sir. Now, Marcus's facial reactions are just priceless right now. He put his leg up like he was Stephen A. And as much as I respect what you both gentlemen said, I have to disagree. Here's why. I had a chance to watch. I love TNT. And that's probably my go-to when it comes to NBA. I know Brandon doesn't like them. He thinks that they say crazy things.
Don't take shots at my guy. Don't take shots at my guy.
TNT and CNN.
Listen, Kenny Smith said it best. And when you listen to what he said, he made some good points. People like to believe that the NBA is coming back normal. It's coming back far from normal. You have teams, these guys are in the hotel rooms. There's no traveling. There's no home court. The one thing that the Lakers tried to get and the Bucks and the Lakers were fighting to get all season was home court. That's gone. Now, instead of players traveling back and forth, they're going back into the same hotel room. They're chopping it up together. You don't know if teams have spies. Teams don't really have privacy. What's the privacy in the bubble? A team could send somebody to go look at somebody else's practice. So again, I'm just putting scenarios out there when you're in the mindset where all the teams are at the same location. So Kenny made a good point. He said the younger teams have a little bit more. This is like an AAU style play. Younger teams would be better off in the AAU style because they've played it way more than the older players now. So I think it's a disadvantage where everyone's in the same location. You're getting rid of home court. And by that meaning that it's anyone's ball game, it really is anyone's ball game because you have an 8-game season. There's no 8-game season. What is that? That's not a regular season going from playing 82 games straight into the playoffs. You're going from 8 games and then you're going straight right into the playoffs playing at one specific location. It's anyone's ball game. There's no home crowd to give you momentum. People forget there are a lot of times we saw in the playoffs where the playoff momentum swings because the crowd starts to cheer. You start feeding off. There's no fan interaction, none of that. And I believe the fans are the 6th man or the 7th man, if you want to say that. So do not sleep on these younger teams. But if we really had to pick, I would say, yeah, the favorites are your Celtics, your Bucks, your Clippers, your Lakers. I'm just saying don't underestimate the younger teams taking over and taking advantage of the bubble.
That's a very interesting point in terms of that everyone's going through the same thing. There's no home court, no traveling, whatever. At the end of the day, I don't care. All the teams that got invited who are the 8 seed down in both conferences are a waste of space. They're not relevant. They're not winning a title. I put a poll on my Instagram last week. I said, true or false, the Lakers and the Clippers are the only real title contenders in the NBA. And my DMs were flooded saying, oh, what about the Bucks? What about the Bucks? The Bucks are not title contenders. It's not Eastern Conference contenders. It's title contenders. Nobody's putting your money on Giannis and the Bucks to beat the Lakers or the Clippers. Nobody's doing that. A title contender means that someone is putting their money or expected to win the championship. The Lakers are expected to win. The Clippers are expected to win. And a lot of people are throwing out the Rockets in there that they're title contenders. Nobody's expecting the Rockets to win a championship. As we speak today, as the seedings are right now, the Rockets will have to beat, in order, the Nuggets, then the Clippers, then the Lakers, then the Bucks or the Celtics, whoever gets out of the East. So
let me correct you here, though. You look at the Nuggets. The Nuggets are not that good of a team. You're looking at and it's hard for me to say this because you know how I feel about James Harden. But James Harden and Russell Westbrook, we've never seen that dynamic in the playoffs yet. So I don't think we should shy away from them.
That wasn't my point, though. I was saying that's their 4 series that they have to go against. So when you're saying title contenders doesn't mean beat the Nuggets in the first round because they're the 3 seed and then push the Clippers to 7 games. Title contenders means they're expected to win and hoist the Larry O'Brien trophy. The Rockets with no center, they don't have a center on the roster. If you count Tyson Chandler, who's like 38 years old, that's their only center on the roster.
What are you trying to say? Damn.
I'm trying to determine, though, how do you label a title contender when the teams that are invited to the bubble are there to compete for a what? They're not there to compete to look at themselves.
It's called money. You want to give everyone a fair.
So by your standard, that means anyone who's not a top 2 because they look good on paper, but what you've seen. So you're basically disqualifying any other team. You're basically disqualifying and saying it doesn't matter.
If you're not expected to win, you are not a title contender. The Lakers are expected to win a title. The Clippers are expected to win.
By who? Who determines that expectation?
Us.
The fans or the media?
The fans and the media.
So based off your Instagram, which is like 50 people, you're saying that it's only Bucks and the Clippers. That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying.
That was not my podcast page. That was actually my personal page.
Okay, so how many? But again, so your podcast page speaks for the entire NBA family, and people saying what's contenders and not.
I just said that was not my podcast page.
Your personal page or whatever platform speaks for the entire NBA and saying that any other team in the bubble is not qualified to win a championship. I'm still trying to understand. That doesn't make sense to me.
Tell me who is expecting any of these teams outside of the Lakers or the Clippers to win a title. Are you putting your money on the Bucks to win? Are you putting your Celtics? Well, maybe you might put your money on the Celtics. I hope you're not winning a title. And I'm not saying get to the finals because that's not the question. The question is title contenders hoisting the finals trophy. Nobody's expecting them to win. Nobody's expecting the Bucks to actually beat the Lakers or the Clippers. I don't.
Why not? Why not?
Brendan, let me say something to you. So I agree with you, but part of this business is it would be boring if we just came out here and said, hey, everybody, the Lakers and Clippers are going to win the title. You might as well cancel the season. That's one of the reasons people lamented the fact that KD pulled up to Golden State was because it was pretty much a foregone conclusion. So in theory, right, the Bucks have a chance to win the championship. But like you say, or like you're saying to Carl, I always tell people money talks, BS walks. So when I'm at work, and I hear my coworker saying, oh, yeah, this team got a good shot. I'm like, so bet money on them. Because if you really feel that confident about them, then you'll put money on them. If not, flip it. I already have 3 active bets with 3 of my coworkers, $100 a piece, each bet. that the Lakers are going to win.
Listen, with all due respect, I'm happy that they're your coworkers and not anyone in the Sports Hit List group because we know how that goes. All right?
Oh, yeah.
That's a conversation for another day.
Alvin Green of the Bronx, New York. But nevertheless, I get what he's saying. The Bucks, here's how I have a problem saying that the Bucks have a chance to win the title. Because if you look at, all I keep hearing all offseason was Giannis got done in by Kawhi. Kawhi went to a team where he linked up with George Paul, right?
Paul George, man.
Your favorite player. Continue.
Who's Andres' favorite player, and I'm pretty sure Andres would argue that George Paul is better than Pascal Siakam. He is. The Clippers have a better bench than the Raptors. So basically, if Kawhi didn't Giannis last season and linked up with a better team and a better player, how would Giannis have any chance of beating them this year?
They don't.
They won't.
Everyone's saying the Bucks are title contenders because of their record and that Giannis is going to win back-to-back MVPs.
And they were better than they are.
Listen, from a historical context of two things I will say, and again, we're looking at the totality of the NBA. From the standpoint of you saying there are only two teams, correct. But upsets do happen. I've seen two in my lifetime in the finals. We saw it in 2011 and we saw it in 2004. The Lakers were predicted
No. Do not throw that shade like that.
I'm not. I'm being honest. It's the truth.
No, you're not. You saw it.
Oh, my goodness. Is that not true? Someone here correct me. With 2011, were the Miami Heat not going to win the championship?
We were favorites to win.
That's what I'm saying. That's an upset. I'm just saying I'm giving you an upset. Upsets do happen. 2004, it happened. The Lakers were supposed to win that finals, and they lost in 5. It happens. That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying for you to disqualify the Bucks, I don't think you're giving them the opportunity. I don't think it's fair for you to say that because again, Giannis knows he lost last year. He has to make it up. I'm not saying I'm going to pick them, but for you to just dismiss that they're not contenders, I think it's a disrespect.
This is why I have a problem with what Carl's saying is because when the Bucks lose to the Lakers and Clippers, people are going to say Giannis doesn't have a second star, and that's what we're trying to tell you right now.
No one's going to say that though. Who's
yes, they are.
That's the narrative that you created though. Carl, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Is momentum a real thing?
It really is. I believe in it. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen it firsthand. I'll give you an example. This is dating back to 2002. The Celtics were down 20 going into the fourth quarter. The Lakers were down against Portland in the Western Conference Finals in 2000, and the momentum completely shifted. And the fans, and you'll never forget if you go back in history and you look at it, Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, threw an alley to Shaq. He threw an alley to Shaq, and Shaq pointed to where? To the crowd. You get what I'm saying? The momentum completely shifts. When
all right, I just had a question.
Sitting there shooting 3-pointers and he goes crazy for a block and he pumps his chest, who's he pumping his chest to? The crowd. That's a big momentum swing. And people highly underestimate the crowd. I think the crowd, momentum swings do happen and the crowd plays a big factor.
All right, I was just curious.
It's going to play a factor, the crowd. I'm not going to dispute that, but I still don't.
He's a Jet fan and he goes to games and Yankee games all the time. How many times do you get a chant going to get the crowd? And if you speak to any athlete, they'll tell you they feel that. They feel that momentum where they get where they get crowded. You go to a Yankee Stadium game, the first thing they do is the roll call because of what? The fans. It's the fans, and people underestimate that power of fans chanting and being in your home arena and people going crazy and you're feeding off that energy. There's nothing like it.
So how come home teams don't always win if momentum is a real thing?
Say that again.
If momentum
I never said that they
thing.
do. I never said that home teams always win. I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know it's a factor. It is a major factor for players. It is. And to sit here and try to deny it it's ludicrous.
No, but no one's picking the Bucks. If you're not picking them, they're not a real title contender. They are what you call a pretender. That's why we have this segment right now.
Based off of what you're saying is that we're picking only two teams. You're only picking two teams to win the championship. That's what you're saying.
Who's picking the Bucks? Anyone? Let me know. Let me know where. And wake me up when they win the title. Wake me up when they win the title. Let me know who's picking them because I don't see anyone picking them. Everyone's just saying, "Oh, they're there." My DMs got flooded, and everyone came at me saying, "That's cap."
No one is picking them. You're correct, but they are there. I'm sorry. It's unfortunate to say they're there.
It's like this: in 2017, 2018, the Cleveland Cavaliers were not title contenders. Nobody's picking them over the Warriors. They did not have a fighter's chance.
But everyone knew they were making it out of the East, though. So how does that?
That's still giving them a chance.
Did I say Eastern Conference contenders or title contenders? Title contenders means hoisting the Larry O'Brien Trophy, not getting out of the East.
But a team that gets out of the East goes to the finals is a contender.
And they have a shot.
They have a shot.
They don't have a real chance to win.
So so then just crown someone the trophy now. What's the point of playing the games?
You always play the game. This is how the Bucks win. Wait, this is how the Bucks win. The COVID tests are on their side. That's how they could win. That's how they could win.
Oh, brother.
No, let's not start the.
Here's speaking of COVID, right? So as I was watching the Clippers and Magic, there were a couple of times during the game where the score even or the Magic pulled close. You guys alluded to the fact that we have the potential for upsets given that this is such an unlikely scenario that we're experiencing with the resume of the season. What I think is that because of the threat and fear of people testing positive and the uncertainty surrounding the bubble, I think that teams, whereas in the past, higher seeds would typically sleep on lower seeds, they're going to be about the business of getting them out of there quickly so that they can resume the rest of the season or the playoffs and crown a champion as fast as possible. So for instance, there's a such thing as a competitive sweep, right? A team can be on all 4 games and still get swept. The Pelicans and Blazers going against the Lakers in the first round would be extremely interesting. And I can see the Pelicans and Blazers maybe squeaking out 1 game. But I think LeBron James and Anthony Davis in the end will look at it like, look, the faster we get to the next round, and the next round, the faster we can end all of this. All of these teams that are in the bubble are going to be gone relatively shortly. By the first week of September, I believe, or maybe mid-September, most of these teams will be gone. So that will give a little bit more certainty surrounding the bubble because it'll obviously be less people. It'll require less tests. So I'm not really into the whole upset thing. Now, the Rockets, I like James Harden a lot. I know there's a lot of talk about how much weight he's lost. Him and Russell Westbrook, Carl, you wrongly said that you've never seen them play together in the playoffs, which I don't know. Maybe you were asleep when they were in Oklahoma City. I don't know what you were doing. But
not as James. Let me correct my statement. Not as James Harden as the 6th man. Not as James Harden as a starter.
I'll allow you to clarify your statement. Even though when he was a 6th man, they kind of played him as like a de facto.
And he was amazing against the Spurs. And he was amazing.
Man. Here's another factor that you guys are forgetting too. I forget who said it. I was watching The Jump. Shout out to that show, which is a great show on ESPN. The technical fouls. A player said, when you have the crowd, referees don't hear everything you say. I watched a clip of that Magic game. You could hear them talking back and forth. That's a big factor where you're going to say something about a ref. You can't say anything. They could hear everything at this point in game. So the technical fouls, will we see more technical fouls now because of players who feel like they could get away with saying certain things and now everybody being able to hear them? That's another factor too, because again, you don't have the loud noise of the crowd making noise, and a player could say something immediately to a referee and get tossed within 2 seconds because of that. So I think the refereeing is another factor. Will the referees still referee the same or different because we're in the bubble setting?
I think they're gonna operate the same as if there was a crowd. You know what I mean? I feel like during games, you obviously hear you can't hear it when they play on TV, but like there's no way that players don't curse or they tell like a coach like, hey, listen, coach, I don't think I fouled them, So I think like in the bubble, I think they're going to let the players play. If things get out of hand, then obviously a technical foul is going to get called just like normally do. So I think that I think the referees are going to allow the players to play. And if like cursing or something gets out of hand, then they're going to let it slide. But like twice or 3 times, then obviously it's a T.
That's fine that things may be different. I'm still taking in the sport of basketball, the best players with the most talent, the most experience will win at the end of the day. I think the Lakers and the Clippers are getting out of the West. I don't think anyone can compete with them as long as they stay healthy. And no one in the East has a fighter's chance to match up against them. The Lakers.
By your diagnosis, that means it's a sweep in the finals. Then.
I said win the series. The Bucks, if they get out of the East, they are not beating them 4 out of 7 games. That doesn't mean make it close 7 games. I don't care about that. I'm saying win 4 games. We see teams get close. I don't care about that. I'm saying getting it done in crunch time, winning 4 games in a 7-game series. The Bucks are not doing that. They don't have a
So why are they playing? So why are they playing the finals?
What?
Why are they playing the finals?
Are you going to say that every year? Or are you going to say in 2018 why they play the finals when the Cavs had no?
They had a chance, did they not? That's not what you say. No. That's what you say.
I'm the one who just said the Cavs were not real title contenders in 2018, even though they got out of the East. That's my point.
Let me ask you a question, Brandon. Did you believe that the Cavs were going to win in 16 or no?
No.
All right, then. That proves my point. That proves the point for the Bunks. Because again,
we can fact check this. I picked as soon as the Cavs lost in 15, I said they will win next year in 7 against the Warriors.
Listen, I have nothing against what you're saying. I'm just trying to disprove Brandon's theory that the Bucks don't have a fighter's chance. What I'm saying is that again, you're saying contenders. A top 2 team is considered a contender and you have the reigning and defending MVP who most likely will win the MVP again. That's not a contender?
No, there's people who put their money on the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2016. I was not one of them, but I can't speak for everyone. I still have not yet to hear anyone saying I believe the Bucks will win the finals. And I don't.
A lot of people have said
anyone,
it. Actually,
I don't believe anyone feels confident putting their money on the Bucks to win.
And what about the Celtics? No one's put their money on them. I'm trying to be objective. I'm just asking because
I'll say they're getting the East. I think they're getting the East, but they're not winning a 7-game series against the Lakers or the Clippers. The only way that those pretenders have a chance is if the COVID tests are on their side. That's the only way possible.
You can't prove that. You can't. The matchups are different. The Celtics clearly match up. The Celtics match up pretty well with the Lakers. They do also with the Clippers. Remember the regular season game we saw? They did. Keep in mind
they went down to the wire in LA.
They did. They went down to the wire against the Clippers and went to overtime. I'm just giving you the fact. Listen, I'm giving you the facts. I'm giving you the facts. So you're not going off the regular season games.
No, I'm not going to. All right.
That was 5 months ago. I don't care.
Brendan, I got him. You know I'm not going to let you do that because guess what? When KD pulled up to Golden State, the Cavs beat the Warriors Christmas Day, right? And everyone was like, oh, yeah, the finals is going to be lit. And then what happened?
All I'm saying to you is that
the Warriors smoked them in January.
Stop discrediting the East. You're basically saying the East is just going to show up for a bloodbath. That's what Falco is saying.
They're showing up to lose. They're showing up to lose. That's what
I disagree with that. I'm sorry. I disagree. I think it's a fighter's chance at the end of the day. Because of the circumstances.
I see people putting their money on it. When I see people picking the Bucks or the Celtics to win,
you see people putting their money on the Bucks, the Lakers and the Clippers. Tell me.
Hell yeah. They're expected.
How many people?
What?
How many people put their money? I want to know. No, that's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. You're saying you see people put money on it. Let me tell me. Tell me the odds.
I can't get into detail on that part.
There we go. Listen, all I'm telling you, Brendan, I understand what you're saying, and I respect the fact that you're saying the Clippers and the Lakers. On paper, and what we've seen all season, I cannot sit here and say that's not what we want to see in the Western Conference Finals. All I'm saying is don't sleep on the Eastern Conference. And again, given the fact that we're in the bubble, you would have a better chance of saying that in a normal regular season, but this isn't normal. And I think people are underestimating that. It is. This is not normal. And Marcus is shaking his head. I'm telling you, man, the fans play a big difference. They play a big difference. The home swing, the players are not traveling. They're just basically going back and sleeping. They're going to be talking to each other. It's completely different setting. We're starting at 0-0. And again, Kenny Smith said it. We're not having a season that's like we're continuing. It's a whole new start. So I don't know why people are sitting here and dismissing the bubble like we're going to arenas.
I'm not sleeping on the East. I'm snoring on the East, and I will eventually hibernate on the East. They're not winning. I'm telling you that right now. They're not winning.
And I think that's your bias talking. I'm sorry.
Exactly. I just feel like the teams that.
But when Marcus said before, the narrative when the Bucks loses, Giannis doesn't have another star. Now he has to leave in 2021 when he hits free agency. The Bucks really aren't built. And then if the Lakers win, obviously we got to diminish LeBron winning a championship, saying, even though he got out of the West.
Well, we're not. Listen, let's not get into what market is going to happen. Let's talk about the facts. The facts are there are 4 teams that we know, and we could sit here and agree that there are 4 teams that are contenders: the Bucks, the Lakers, the Celtics, and the Clippers.
Make the finals.
And you can even toss in the Heat. You can even toss in other teams.
I'm gonna be honest. I think the Heat can beat the Celtics.
That's fine. And you know what? I've been on record. I've been on record on your platform, Brendan, and I said the East is completely wide open.
That's fair.
You forget about the Sixers. The Sixers are completely different too. So and you have the defending champions. The Raptors were playing great up until this point.
The Raptors are not doing anything.
So we don't know.
The Raptors are 11-15 against teams over 500. Stop it.
We don't know.
They were injured. No. You can't say that because they were injured too. All right. I back to what Carl was saying. The lower seeds, they don't have anything to lose. They're gonna look at each other and they're gonna be like, "Listen,
I owe you a drink, man. Happy belated birthday for that one. I owe you a drink.
I appreciate you.
On me.
The lower seeds, they're gonna look at each other in the mirror and they're gonna be like, "Listen, nobody is expecting us to win, so let's go out there and let's prove why we deserve to be here."
Yes.
Wait,
hold on, guys.
One more thing. There's only 3 teams that are top 5 in defense and offense in the season. The Lakers, the Clippers, and the Celtics. So to disrespect the Celtics and say they don't have a chance, it's bogus.
No. I'm saying that if we're changing the title, the subject to the Eastern Conference contenders, I'm with you. But we're saying winning the title, hoisting the trophy, I'm not buying it.
All I'm telling you is good luck to you, and you better hope that the Clippers or the Lakers don't get eliminated. Even they make it, because you will never hear the end of it from me.
I'll
Oh, amen.
Pray, go
Amen.
pray right now.
Amen.
In the
fair.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit, go pray right now for that. Because you know,
But if the
right
Lakers
now.
do get eliminated before they should, I will hibernate for 6 months.
No,
Good.
you won't.
Good. You said it on record. Don't delete that part either, because I want to see it.
Brendan is what, 6'4",
230.
30, right? I'm 5'6", maybe 170, right? At the end of the day, I can look myself in the mirror and say, you know what? I have nothing to lose. I'm going to go up to bat against Brendan, right? But when
And you should, 100%.
when he's throwing 97, that doesn't matter. It's can I hit 97 or not? So what you're saying is that these lower seeded teams are going to look themselves in the mirror and say, you know what, guys? No one's expecting us to win. But guess what's going to happen when they get on the court? The talent disparity is going to kick in. And guess what? LeBron and Anthony Davis or Giannis is going to
And as much as I love what you just
team.
said, but I love what you just said, but again, you're pretending like upsets don't happen in sports.
When was the last time an
do.
AC beat a 1 seed? When was the last time an AC beat a 1 seed?
I think it was 2002. What in the playoffs?
2007.
I think it was 2012. 2012.
Seven.
Derrick Rose got hurt. No, because Derrick Rose got hurt one year, and the Bulls that were 8 seed, I think they beat a 1 seed. It was one of those years.
Yeah.
So we're talking 13 years ago. Andres is Mr. Stats, aka Mr. Numbers.
No, there was another year it happened. There was another year it did happen.
I think you're right, but I'm not putting.
But anyway, it's happened. My point to you guys again.
It's rare. It's
rare, but it's happened. And then when you're in the open bubble with no open home court, there's a possibility that something can happen. That's all we're saying.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing in every sport.
You said
look at the Nationals. The Nationals. Time out. The Nationals were a wild card team, and they were facing the best team in baseball.
Not letting you do that.
They were facing the best. Why not?
Andres,
so now it's different.
Time out.
Baseball and basketball are different.
Yes,
you know,
baseball's a different sport. Basketball, when you have the most talent and you're relatively healthy, if you're healthy, you are going to win the title. Pretty much almost every time you could bank your money on that. Baseball, if we have this discussion about baseball when that time comes, I'll say all 10 teams that are in the playoffs, well, they actually may have just changed.
So you're saying baseball is a better sport. Thank you.
Listen, all I'm saying is this.
Again,
in a normal setting, going into the season before COVID, I would say, you know what? Brandon is right. Marcus is right. And I'm going to say this again. I've been saying this all segment long. The bubble is different. It's an unknown. That's all that is. The bubble, no matter how much the talent is a factor, the bubble is different. The bubble is completely different.
No, it's not. Kawhi is going to go out there and do Kawhi things, okay? Lou Williams is going to do Lou Williams things. AD and LeBron are going to do AD and LeBron things.
So are they going to rest Kawhi for the 8 games until they get to the playoffs, or not? Is he going to play them?
Who knows?
That's
a fact. It does matter because he needs to be load managed. That's a factor. He needs to be load managed. It's not a regular season. It's not a regular season. He needs to be load managed. Here's another factor. Let me tell you this about the Lakers. J.R. Smith is not. He wasn't on the main roster. Now he's on the roster. It's not Avery Bradley anymore. You lose a defender and you gain a J.R. Smith who hasn't played in 2 years. And I made this point to you, right? Who else did you add on? You thought about talking about
Deion Waiters,
right? Deion Waiters. You added players that haven't actively played. That's a factor. You're going to sit here and tell me that the Lakers team that won the games is the same team that you have now going into the bubble? No, it's not.
They're going to plug them in and win every game.
I got it again.
They're going to plug them in and win every game magically.
Hold on. The Lakers have 2 things that a lot of teams don't. They have rested LeBron James, who is the consensus best player in the world.
Brother.
They also have another top 5 player in Anthony Davis, who was dealing with throughout the whole season, is now rested and healthy.
You can make the argument for top 5.
He's 5. He's 5 right now. But
Steph Curry and KD are not in the playoffs, so he's the 5th best player in the NBA right now. So the Lakers have 2 top 5 players fully rested. I'm putting my money on them.
Of course you would, because you have 2 LeBron.
I wouldn't be surprised if you did it.
Jeannie Buss pays you to say these things on your platform.
I'm not a fan of the Clippers, but I'm saying
Carl. Here's what's gonna happen. Because I really want you to keep the same energy.
I always do.
Once the season resumes and the playoffs begin, right? When the Bucks are mollywopping the Orlando Magic up and down the court, I don't want to hear anything about, well, that's to be expected. The Magic are not a good team. Because we tried to tell you. They're gonna get swept, okay?
Just like last year. I'm not talking about the East. I'm talking about the Blazers in the West. No one's talking about the Orlando Magic.
Listen, I'm not making. It's very hard for me to make predictions on an unknown. I'm not going to sit here and say that the Clippers and the Lakers are not favorites. Of course they are. I'd be a fool not to say that. All I'm saying is just be mindful. Again, this is a bubble surrounding that nobody's played in before, and you can't sit here and tell me that. Well, because they have talent, they're automatically going to win. That's not true. They've never played it. They've never played. No one in the NBA has ever played 8 games and then they go straight to the playoffs. They've never done that. Never.
If they get eliminated before they should, I'll hibernate, and I'm gonna hibernate.
That's all I'm saying to you guys. Again, if the Lakers and the Clippers win, fine. We predicted that. All I'm saying is this: if another team does, don't be surprised because we're in the bubble setting. They've never win.
Like
I
the
don't
Rockets.
know.
The Rockets.
Close your eyes
the
and tell me who you can see hoisting a trophy other than the Lakers and Clippers. Go ahead. Tell me.
The Rockets. The Celtics.
I'm not gonna say nothing. Listen, I'm not. The Rockets, I'm not going to say – I'm just letting you know, don't underestimate – I just don't like the fact that Brandon is just basically disqualifying the teams in the Eastern Conference because they made it to the finals. They have the right to play the games. And you're sitting here telling me
the other 28 teams –
the other 28 teams are not going to win.
By your standards are there are no other contenders other than 2 teams. That's factually incorrect. A team that makes it out of the Eastern Conference is a contender.
In the sport,
the other 28 teams in October, they should have looked themselves in the mirror.
So basically, Brandon, by your logic, you're basically saying any team that makes it in the Eastern Conference is not a contender. That's basically what you're saying.
This year, yes.
You're factually incorrect because they are a contender because they're competing for a championship and they're games away from winning one. That's factually
the other 28 teams in October, they should have looked themselves in the mirror and be like, you know what? We're not playing this year. There's only 2 contenders.
Yeah, that's basically what you're saying.
What Brendan, I think, is trying to say, and I don't want to speak for him, but this is what I think he's trying to say. There's a difference between actuality and reality, right? So on paper, yes, there are teams that can compete for a championship. But when you really get down to the bottom of it, who do we really expect to win?
And I don't go by off expectations. I don't go by expectations. We go by the number. Listen, hold on, wait. We go by the numbers. We go by the games played, and we go by matchups. Looking at the matchups, right? Do the Celtics match up with the Lakers? Yes or no?
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. That's all. You're wrong. Yes, they do. Yes,
they
do.
They have nobody to guard Anthony Davis. They have nobody to guard Giannis.
Who's guarding Jason Tatum on the Lakers? Please tell me.
LeBron can guard Jason Tatum. Don't do that.
So who's guarding Jaylen Brown?
Oh, Jaylen Brown.
LeBron's gonna do it too. You have 3 players who average 20-plus points. The only team in the league who does that, but then now nobody can guard them. And those are facts, not emotions.
Hold on. Here's the thing.
Give you facts.
Carl, I've talked to you about the Celtics multiple times. You keep promoting, and Andres, you do this too, that the sum of their parts, they're such a great team. They have one of the best starting 5s in the league. I'll give you that. But at the end of the day, when you have upper echelon talent like the Lakers with complementary parts, which have experience, Danny Green, J.R. Smith, Dion Waiters, Rondo, if and when he comes back, JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard. These have been great pickups. Like, I don't know if you all know, but the Lakers are great rim protectors. They have
I never said that. I never said that. I never discredited them. All I'm trying to have Brandon understand is this. You can't disqualify the teams in the East. By saying that. And again, the East is wide open. It could be the Philadelphia 76ers. They just moved Ben Simmons to the 4. We don't know what that looks like. That's an unknown. We don't know what that looks like. So you can't sit here and tell me that you know that they can make it out the Eastern Conference. You're basically just disrespecting the entire East by your statement. You're disrespecting the entire East.
We're running out of time. I want to give everyone one last words. Everyone one last thought. We got to go soon.
Listen, one more thing. With Avery Bradley, the Lakers have the best defense in the NBA. Without him, they're number 10. So let's just admit it's a whole new ballgame.
All I'm saying is this. My final point is this. I'm not disrespecting the Clippers and the Lakers. They've been the favorites since before tip-off in October. This is what the people have been wanting to see in the Western Conference Finals. They have the 1 and 2 chance. All I'm saying is do not disqualify the lower seeds and do not disqualify the Eastern Conference. I wouldn't be surprised if we
get away with that. The lower seeds, stop it. Ain't none of the seeds that are 6, 7, 8 winning championship.
But but you can't disqualify. Listen, you can't disqualify the Eastern Conference teams. You can't do that. That's not fair to them.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
I'm sorry, you can't.
So let me get this straight. So if the Raptors and Clippers meet in the finals, or the Raptors and Lakers, you pick Toronto, and I'll pick the LA team, and let's see who comes out on top.
I can't make predictions off of things that haven't happened yet. So call me. You know my number. Call me when the Western Conference and Eastern Conference finals come around.
That's my point. To wrap up, in the sport of basketball, when you have the best, you have the most talent, and you're relatively healthy, you're going to win the title almost every single time. If we're doing football or baseball, I will say almost every team in the playoffs. Football is a little different, but especially baseball, I'll say all 10 teams are title contenders because anyone actually can win the title. for the most part in basketball, besides in 2016 when the best player of the world did the best player of the world things.
Oh
then
my
you'll see
Lord.
Listen,
But until
special
then,
shout out to the fans, man. You guys are underrating the fans, except for Andres. You two have underrated fans. You guys don't know what it means to be in a playoff game.
Wait a minute.
The fans
Paul,
going crazy.
Paul,
Come on, man.
don't lie to the people. Brandon and I have been petitioning for fans to be in attendance at these games. Don't do that.
You're petitioning for that for the wrong reasons, not for them for momentum
right
shifts.
reason.
But no, for the wrong
Okay.
reasons. I'm petitioning for in terms of play. The players feed off of the fans. It's a known fact. You talk to any athlete when they rush out. Brandon will tell you, Brandon, as an athlete, when you go out there and you see the fans cheering, how much of that energy do you feel?
Good question. To be quite honest, in the beginning of the game, it really hits you. But when you're locked in, especially late in the game, you don't hear a word. I'm going to be honest with you. When I pitch in a late in the game, I'm so locked in, I do not hear a word around me. I swear to God. That's the guy.
And that's what's about to happen. Braun is in zero mode. It's over.
Zero dark.
All I'm gonna say is, if the Lakers don't win the championship, I don't want Marcus blocking my number, and I don't want Brandon blocking my number.
I'm running. But that's gonna wrap up.
And second of all, thank you, Brandon, for having me on your platform. I appreciate it.
Brandon, appreciate it, man. You're doing good work out there. Proud of you, bro.
Yes,
Keep it up.
Proud of you as well, man.
Keep up the good work, man. Keep it up.
Dream Team 4, always a pleasure to have you guys on with me. Thanks again for joining. That's gonna wrap up today.